What's up, everybody out there? This is Mikey, your host, for a new segment called of the Real Cast called Trailer Talk Tuesday. We're going to talk about all things trailers and upcoming projects, and I have my co-host for this segment of the show, the Immortal Nerd, capital T-H-E.
Capital T-H-E.
Immortal Nerd. Thank you for coming on, man.
No problem. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. So, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a little bit. We've been busy with a lot of things, mainly Comic-Con. Comic-Con has come around, and a lot of things come with Comic-Con. We went to I went to a couple of Comic-Cons myself. I went to the Raleigh SuperCon and the Greenville Comic-Con. In case you follow me on social media and stuff like that, you'll know that hey, we were out there and everything. Hakeem here went to Greenville Comic-Con, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat. So some cool characters out there and everything. Got a picture by Variant, the Variant. Which they're always attending the cons and everything like that, and they do specialize in a lot of cosplay and stuff like that. So shout out to them. Thank you for doing that picture. Thought that was awesome. I gotta get you to do that next time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a lot of stuff happened at Comic-Con, and the main thing that happened, trailers. All of the trailers came out at the end of July. All the trailers happened. So yeah, just you pick it. A movie came. If there's a movie coming out this year or next year, a trailer came out for it at Comic-Con basically, and they just everyone just dropped theirs, and then everyone's like, oh well, Comic-Con's dropping this stuff, so we gotta drop our trailers too. And it was just like,
right.
All right, guys, look.
We'll
get to you in a minute.
Can't miss the window here. Gotta drop them.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, they dropped their trailer and everything, and I'm just like, guys, come on. We need time here and everything. So as opposed to trying to come out with these trailer reviews like I used to do for the Comic Junkies Corner. Comic Junkies Corner is coming back. Don't worry. It's probably going to come back late October-ish. As you can tell, we're in a new location. So, and we might be moving locations again. So it just really depends. So that's why, just filming and everything has to be postponed for that and stuff. And, but I still wanted to talk about trailers because I like talking about trailers, because it gets us excited, gets us amped up and everything like that.
Not in that kind of
excited. Depending on the kind of trailer you're watching. But we got quite a few, and we're actually going to split this up into two videos because we don't want this video to be 5 hours long. So we're probably going to go through 2 or 3 Comic-Con trailers today, but we had quite a few drop. I had a whole list of them. But basically we had Alita, Battle Angel, that dropped. We had Godzilla, Shazam, Titans, Aquaman, Glass, and Overlord. And there was more. There was plenty more, but those are the ones that kind of interested us and everything like that. Not the anime Overlord. Just is a whole new thing that's been created by what's the director's name? I can't remember his name now. His name was just in my mind, and I literally just forgot as I was about to say it.
I thought that was his name, just in my mind.
J.J. Abrams, but it's basically, if you really think about it, it's kind of like the movie that probably your Call of Duty people will probably enjoy because the whole zombie thing and stuff like that. So it's probably a little bit along their lines, but we'll get into that eventually. But we're going to get into quite a few of them today. We'll get through as many as we can. But like I said, there's just a lot of them. We're going to have to split this up into 2. I have another special guest next time around. So in addition to us, but we'll reveal who that is later on and everything. So, but yeah, we're going to get into the first one. We're going to get into is Alita, Battle Angel, and I've got the trailer here. And you've never heard of Alita, Battle Angel?
No, I haven't. Very surprising, I know. But right now, all of my time has been into catching up on One Piece. And that's like, as of right now, on its 848th episode. And I'm on like I'm on 490 right now. So I'm really trekking it. I'm almost at the point for the English dub where they have they're in like 500 something. So I'm almost there, but I'm gonna go past since I'm watching the
you watching Japanese
dub.
Okay. 800 some odd episodes. That's a long time.
Yep.
That is.
I'm powering myself through it.
This is one thing you can say is like, we're in Japan, their shows never end. I guess Dragon Ball's still going on, obviously. They've taken significantly long breaks, but they're still going on. Pokemon's still going on. They have a reboot.
For whatever reason, they're still going on.
And Power Rangers is still happening. So I'm just like, because one thing you can say, like, they just don't get tired of it. They can keep pumping them out as long as people keep watching, people keep enjoying them. Hey, I was a Power Ranger fan back in the day. I still like the old Power Rangers. I know how goofy and silly that they are and everything like that, but that's part of the thing that was endearing about them. But I watched it up until Disney got a hold of it, and then when Disney got a hold of it, it was just like, all right, this. It went from being silly to like, all right, this is just stupid now.
Now is that when they came out with Mystic Force? Is that when Disney took
before that?
Before that,
it was Ninja Storm, I think. Is that the? Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, but yeah, Ninja Storm, I think, is the one where they took over. It went to Disney XD, and it became like, because it was like that kind of riding that line where it's just like, this can be like that silliness, but you could still kind of follow it a little bit to the point where it's just like it's Disney-fied. That's the best way I can really explain it. If you watch Disney Channel shows, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just like, it just got to that level, and I'm just like, all right, yeah, I think I'm too old for this now. But first we got to take care of some housekeeping. And first of all, we want to thank you for tuning into McBlam Entertainment, where we try to bring a little bit of enjoyment to your day every day. And you can follow us on the social media. Follow us at McBlam Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at McBlamENT. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can catch all these highlights, stuff like that. And also follow, come here to McBlam Entertainment. But first, before we get into that, where can they find you, Mr. Hakeem?
You can find me on Twitter at CryKeem92, Cry with a K, Keem with a K and 2 E's. And also, you can subscribe to my channel, The Immortal Nerd 2. That's where I have all of my, main videos and where I stay active at. Subscribe, guys.
Yes, subscribe, and like I said, or you could just find us right here on McBlam Entertainment. Like I said, we try to bring a little bit of enjoyment to your day every day. If you just really want that full experience, you can keep the audio on SoundCloud, keep the audio on iTunes and everything like that. But if you want that full experience, you want to see the entire show uncut, come right here to McBlamEntertainment.com, and you can see us in our full glory. Not that kind of full glory. It's not that kind of website now. But yeah, and if you want to support us, you want to go that extra mile. We're not asking you to, but if you wanted to go that extra mile, you can do that for a very, very, very low price. Guess how much they can support us for?
About what? $5?
Yeah, I wouldn't turn that down. but I will not turn that down. But you can support us for the low price of $1 a month. That's less than stuff you can get out of the vending machine, man. Just $1 a month. Be a patron. Patreon.com/McBlam Entertainment. Go over there, support us if you choose to. If not, then we could just enjoy it. You could just enjoy us and be a viewer and be the awesome viewer that you are. But if you do support us, we can put out more content more often and bring the wonderful content, the wonderful, awesome content to the wonderful viewer that is you.
The wonderful world of McBlam Entertainment.
But yes, so now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and get into Battle Angel Alita. We got the trailer, and we'll be back to see what our review is going to be like.
with her.
I'd be with her too. Yeah, like, but I gotta say, like, right from the get go, and like, there was a teaser out long ago, like not was a few months ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago or something like that. They had a teaser trailer out, and a lot of people were really, I hadn't really seen much of the teaser trailer, but a lot of people were saying like, man, those eyes, those eyes on her are just like, they're a little bit too much. It's like they went for like the anime style and everything that they're trying to go for, but
big eyes.
They were just like, yeah, like she has really big eyes. And seeing the teaser, I was just like, yeah, this is a little bit too literal, especially like she's the only one that has them. But in the sense of that she's not human, it might work. And you see all the other things in there, like all the other like people that are like, you know, robot and their mech and stuff like that. I was like, all right, you kind of, I think I can kind of go with it, you know, like they might be a little bit off-putting at first or whatever, but I think this, the way they have showcased what's going on in this trailer and everything, I think it's probably going to be fine. Now, hopefully, like I won't be too distracted or anything like that, but I think it's going to be fine given like there's so much other stuff going on.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a lot of things going to be taking place here.
Mm-hmm. And what I do like is how they styled everything, because to me, this looks a lot like, let me get to a particular part here. This looks a lot like, because the original came out in 1993, because we looked it up and everything. The original Battle Angel came out in 93, which was like a 2-part series. But this almost looks like it's still from that time period. I don't know, like it has that late 80s, early 90s look, even though like you have all of the, you know, the advanced technology and everything that's going on and stuff. So I really, really enjoy, like, you know, just the jacket and everything. I'm like, it looks like it's from that time. It doesn't look like it's from the present, you know. So it's like apocalyptic, but apocalyptic from the 90s perspective, you know. So I mean, shoot, I wish they had movies like this in the 90s. Wish they had technology like this, and that, like, you know, that could showcase this back in the 90s, because I would have been blown away. I don't know, what did you think about it?
The first thing I want to say is I felt that Ghost in the Shell should have been something like this. Like if it was, it would have been, the reviews would have been a whole lot better than what they were. Like not necessarily have, because let me see, Scarlett Johansson, she wasn't like fully like CGI like Alita is in this trailer, but if she was, or just with anybody else, I think it would have been, the reviews would have been a whole lot better.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, we do have to consider the track record that Hollywood has with adapting anime. So, because, you know, we've had the ones that are just kind of like, it's not terrible, which was what Ghost in the Shell kind of got. I didn't feel like anyone would say it was like terrible, but they were just kind of like, you'd be better off watching the original version of it. It was what most of the reviews kind of summed up to and everything. I will say that I did not like what they did at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for those, but if you saw it and you saw it to the end and you saw what they kind of did with the character, I was just kind of like, all right, so you just took all of that. All I'm going to say is they literally whitewashed the character. Literally. That's all I'm going to say. You take that wherever you want to go with it, or just, you know, go and see the movie. But, you know, we've had those kind of movies where they're just kind of like, they're all right. And then you have Dragon Ball Evolution. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was like, we have those kind of movies. You're like, okay. Okay. You know, which for me, and I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball. It's a guilty pleasure, because it's like, this is so bad. It's so laughable. But at the same time, like, I do recognize that, yeah, like this is gonna piss a lot of people off. And I kind of like went into the movie knowing that this was going to happen. Seeing some of the trailers, seeing the trailer that I saw, I'm like, this is going to be bad. So I went in thinking it was going to be really bad, and like, yep, that's pretty much what I got. It was just dumb, mindless fun after a while. But it's yeah. But what we have here looks like, we got some freaking good people behind it. I mean, you got Robert Rodriguez, who did Sin City, and James Cameron is involved with it, and they're not 100%, batting 100 or anything like that with their track record, but they've done some really good stuff. You can't really argue that or whatever, and quite a few people are in this. Like, we're just looking at the cast list right now. They got Michelle Rodriguez, Jack Earl, Cottonmouth, Ed Skrein, Jennifer Connelly, Christoph Waltz, which is the doctor and everything from the original and everything. It looks like it's going to follow that same tone as the original, because like, okay, the doctor kind of finds like her parts and everything like that, puts her back together and stuff, and it's like that whole post-apocalyptic. It looks really beautiful. I can't fault that. It looks really, really good.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to turn out better than Ghost in the Shell, because of the original anime was just was pretty much like a mini series, just like a two-parter thing. Mm-hmm. Versus Ghost in the Shell, you had like multiple movies, so it was like,
right,
which one will we use, or do we pick and choose from different movies and try to compile it into one? How will we do this? So they had like a lot of information that they didn't know to take from to make it a origin type of movie, or just whatever.
Yeah.
While this one, they only had two, so they knew they had just enough to work with to make it, into something in this trailer, something good.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, we haven't seen the movie yet, obviously, but I mean, it looks really good, and they managed to capture a lot of the style that you would see in anime and stuff like that. Like, her revealing, like this character here revealing, and then her just doing like this front flip to like this little, to the fly kick and everything. Yeah. And I'm like, this looks very stylized, very much like something you would see. Some of the shots that are, the way it's framed and everything, it's like they took really good care to like try to appease to the fans of anime. So I'm like, okay, you're gonna have these shots and everything in here like this, and just the way it's framed, I really, really did appreciate that. I thought that was really cool, because like the action looks really, really neat and everything.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that James Cameron working there. From his stuff with Avatar, you can kind of see those effects, but even better, especially with Alita.
Yes. And like I said, the design of what they do. He grabbed her on the wrong side. It's like, you put your damn hands on me. See, that's why I'm like, that's my girl right there. It's like, I ain't got to do anything. It was just like, go ahead, try it. Go ahead, try something. Go ahead, try something. While we throw a head to a table, we're like, yep. Yep, it's different now, isn't it? But yeah, like, I'm actually really excited to see this now. So this is only my second time seeing this version of the trailer, but it's coming out in December. But I'm actually genuinely excited to see this. More so than I was Ghost in the Shell, and what was the other one? They did another anime adaptation that was before Ghost in the Shell, and I'm trying to remember what that was.
Did it come out in theaters?
I think so. I believe so. I believe it came out in theaters. I haven't seen it, but like I said, Hollywood's track record with anime is usually not that good. But I don't know, like, something about this one is just pulling me towards it just a bit more. And this is me, maybe it's because I don't know that much about Alita Battle Angel. I never saw it other than like the previews and everything. I've never seen it, so I've never read the manga or anything. So maybe that's what's pulling me to it. I don't know. So like maybe the unknown, going in with the unknown, it might appear to be a little bit better.
All right.
I don't have the original to compare it to, which most likely I might get impatient and just watch the originals anyway. But Ghost in the Shell, I did have something to compare that to. And like I said, I don't think Ghost in the Shell was terrible. It's not great, but I'm like, it's forgettable in a sense, whatever. You saw Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Yeah. Is that the kind of the impression that you had with it?
Same. It wasn't. I can't even really explain it. It was like, yeah, it was like it's just there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't get any type of, you know, there was no type of satisfaction there. It was just a movie just to watch. Because going through it, it was just, I felt like it was just retelling like the first animated movie, and it was just kind of, it was like I feel like I already seen this before.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's like I said, that was the vibe I was getting from a lot of critics who had seen it. They were just like, hey, just go watch the original. You know, it'll leave more of an impact on you. This one just didn't do it, but this one I'm hoping for. I mean, I'm expecting they're going to repeat certain things, stuff like that, and certain moments and stuff like that, because you kind of, I don't know, you kind of have to. Like, if you're going to adapt something, you kind of have to have something in there that's just, that's going to harken back to either it's the comic book, manga, or, previous adaptation or something.
Right.
You got to have something that's going to harken back to it. And as long as it's not a copy, like you're not just copying what they did, then it's usually going to be okay. If it's like an homage or something, then it's like, okay. Because if you're copying, then you're just like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
So, listen, they got some good people behind it. Got some, decent actors in here. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know the person that's playing Hugo, Keenan Johnson. I've never heard of him, but they've got some decent actors, and they've got some, like I said, some decent, very, very good, design work and everything that they did for it. So, I'm excited for it. I'm most likely going to go see this in December. It doesn't have Star Wars to contend to, so it might have a bit of a chance, although Star Wars has kind of been on a downward spiral. But
I think this also kind of gives me that vibe for that movie you suggested to me like 2 years ago, the animated movie with the girl. She was pretty much like a mecha, if not robot.
Armitage.
Yeah, Armitage. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and Armitage was so weird because the third movie is still my favorite. There's two ones that come before. The first one I saw was Armitage Dual Matrix. That's the third one, and I was watching it, and I could tell there was a past to it, but I didn't have to watch those previous movies to get what was going on in the movie.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, I really like this. I'm really, into this and everything. And then the first two you watch, you're just like, all right, this is really silly. This is nothing like the third one. And I'm just like, the third one is actually a more serious take on the character and everything. But the first two are just like fun anime, It's cartoonish. Put it that way. Very cartoonish. Whereas the other ones are just like, okay, you took this seriously. And I would say Battle Angel looks a lot like that. Like the third Armitage movie. So yeah, maybe that's also got that little, like you got the doctor and everything like that. You do with the goggles and everything. So I was like, I don't know who borrowed from who. I would definitely say that Armitage Dual Matrix is probably older than Alita. I'm sorry, younger than Alita. I think that came out later on because of just the style and the way it looked.
Yeah.
And everything. It looked very new as Alita, still has that 80s style of animation. So I was surprised it came out in 93. I was like, it still looks like it came in from the 80s. So, but looks a lot like, what was the other one that you said it looked like? What was it? Was it Akira? Or was it another one you said it looked like? Well, it kind of does look like the original Ghost in the Shell too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has that same look. So, but yeah, I'm excited for it. Whatever you guys are excited for, post that down in the comments below. We'd love to know about it. But now we're going to get into our next trailer, which is going to be, drum roll, not Teen Titans. Titans. We'll get into that. We will be back and we will get into that in just a little bit. All right, guys, and we are back. And now we're going to get into at least one of the 3 trailers that everyone's really been talking about. And that one is, of course, Titans, the new TV series that's coming out on DC's TV channel now.
Yeah, I think the online DC online.
Yeah, I was just kind of like,
thing.
okay, that's new. I mean, granted, it's not new because I kind of heard that they were going to do that with Young Justice, season 3 as well. And I'm like, you're really gonna make people go out their way to trying to get to it now. I'm like, I don't know. If Young Justice is good, then this will be a nice little like cherry on top or whatever. But yeah, a lot of people have been talking about this one, and of course, people have been split down the middle because nothing DC's ever. It's either the most awesome thing in the universe or it's the worst thing in the world because it's DC. And it's been that way. It's been that way for a while. But first, we're going to check out the trailer, and we'll be back with our discussion of it.
To you, you're the boy from the circus.
Madness, madness.
Where's Batman? Fuck Batman. I used to think that. I was wrong.
Madness, madness.
I don't know about you, but that looks pretty damn good to me. I
feel like CW had a hand in that.
yeah, definitely probably did. You know, I mean, the same people that are really doing the DC TV shows and now doing the DCAU stuff is, you got Jeff Johns behind it and everything. So you have someone who knows what they're doing. I mean, they've done really well with the comics and everything like that. But a lot of what I have seen or heard rather, is the dark and gritty tone of this. And in some ways I can kind of understand it, especially like if you kind of grew up with, Teen Titans Go, which has been around for quite some time now, and
if you grew up with Teen Titans Go, how old are you?
Yeah, yeah, and like, but I mean, that's the thing that's going around now is Teen Titans Go. But the old Teen Titans, yeah, it was silly in some regards or whatever, but it was actually. It's definitely a lot more serious than Teen Titans Go ever made it, because Teen Titans Go is definitely for kids. 100%, it's a kid's cartoon. I've heard the movie was actually pretty decent and had a lot of stuff for adults in there and everything. So I was like, okay, that's nice. I might check it out when it comes to Amazon or whatever. But I wasn't a fan of it, and mainly because they canceled. What's the name? Young Justice had to be canceled for that show to air. That's, so like I have a chip on my shoulder for that show in regards, because the same thing kind of happened with Spider-Man. They had to cancel Spectacular Spider-Man, which was a good show, just so they could do the Ultimate Spider-Man. And Ultimate Spider-Man is a kid's show, like it's very silly, it's very stupid, but it's made for kids, so I can't hate it. I'm just like, it's just not for me. It's not in my age demographic at all. There's nothing for me to watch there. But if you're a kid, if you're 5-year-old, 6-year-old, whatever, you'll probably get a kick out of it, and that's awesome and everything. But yeah, some people aren't really feeling the dark, more serious take on the Titans. And I think that's a lot of bleed over from the DC EU in general, because where Marvel has their fun side and everything like that, and that's fine. They do their thing. I have my own gripes with them being a little bit too silly. The same kind of goes for DC. I could say, like, I think their tone and firm in terms of being serious is fine. I think they should stay there. I have my gripes with them being a little too serious at times, but I think it works for them. I don't know. Where do you stand on this whole seriousness with DC?
Growing up, watching some of the dashiki, some of the
DC in Africa, right?
Right. When I was watching some of the DC's shows and movies, I've always felt that, seriousness that they had. Like, that's where I came into, DC world, their seriousness type. So when I see this, when I see this trailer, I'm like, okay, about time, they, started, doing what I, always saw them do. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can, build up their reputation now. Because I always felt that DC was lacking that seriousness, in my opinion.
And that's the funny thing. Is just like in the comics for a long time, DC was always bright and funny and stuff like that. Just depending on the comic, obviously. If you're reading Batman, especially like Silver Age Batman, I would probably say when I can't remember his name now, but. I can't remember his name. I'm just failing on everyone's names, man, today. But when Dark Knight, Returns, when all that came out and everything, like, that was a much more gritty take on Batman, and it's kind of stayed that way for the most part. You have your silly adaptations and stuff, like you have Batman Brave and the Bold and stuff like that, that come out, which is, more silly, but for the most part, each incantation of Batman has always been dark and serious, because that's what we know him as now and everything, especially, with Burton's adaptation, stuff like that, it's always kind of been there. Again, you always fall back to, Batman and Robin, Batman, Forever and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's always been serious. Superman has always been kind of campy, like Justice League in general has always been kind of campy, and you have your serious characters, but they've always been kind of happy-go-lucky. Then you had Marvel, who was also always took a more serious approach to it. Like I said, you have your silly characters, or not silly, but you have the ones that were more lighter, like Fantastic Four. Right. But even like comics like Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man can be really funny at times, Spider-Man was actually more serious than not. X-Men more serious than not often. So it was just humor in situations that would happen, but for the most part, it was like the stories were always serious and more engaging that way, and that always made the characters more relatable in my opinion. But since they've hit the movies now, it's like, let's have some more fun with these characters, Marvel. And then DC's like, let's take this a little bit more seriously. It's like, okay, I see what you're doing, but now we're going to do this. We're going to, we're going to flip it. So now they flip sides and everything. And everyone seems to be gravitating more towards Marvel. Granted, I will agree, their movies are better. I'm not going to lie about that. But, it seems to be an unnecessary, and I you can fight me on this all you want, but there is an unnecessary hatred of DC's properties and stuff, and it's just like, if it has DC on it, I have to hate it because that's the popular thing, even when it doesn't necessarily deserve it, like, I admit there's some movies out there that, like, 100%, I get it. I agree. I can't argue with you. There's movies that I can't, but that's just the nature of it. I think the serious tone works. And I will say this, They need to go ahead and give I don't know, have you ever heard of Ismahawk?
The name sounds familiar.
They did this series called Nightwing, the series. It's actually a pretty neat series and everything like that. Acting's a little it gets a little iffy at times, but it's a very well put together series, especially for for YouTube. Like this is one of those series that should have gotten a red series. Like screw all these other. No, I don't want to say screw all of them, but that's mean. But like this is one of those. I'm like, if YouTube Red was around then, they should have got a series based off of this. It's really good. Like I'll post a link in the description down below. But I know probably some of you other people that follow Ismahawk, you can tell like some things are borrowed straight from that series. And like there's this whole scene where like he's holding the R and everything, and I'm just like, that's borrowed almost straight from the Nightwing series. I can't remember which episode it was or anything like that, but just certain things, certain shots, I'm like, this is Nightwing the series almost. And I'm just like, they didn't get paid for that. So I'm like, I need to pay them.
Yeah.
Or at least give them some kind of head nod or something like that. But it was to the point like the series was so popular on YouTube and in other communities that they were like, y'all need to get the guy that played, his name's Danny Shepard, but I need to get him to play Robin or get him to play Dick Grayson as Nightwing because it was so popular at the time. And I'm just like, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it or anything like that. I mean, a little bit. I mean, they're a small team, just kind of like we are. They're a small team and everything like that. So with better direction, yeah, you can pull a much better performance out of them and everything. So I would go with it and everything, but yeah, there's some stuff I'm like, okay, y'all borrowed this straight from them. Kind of like, what was it, Power Rangers? Yeah, the Power Rangers movie. You saw the Power Rangers movie, right? It was like they borrowed some stuff straight from that Artie Shankar bootleg universe, adaptation and everything. I'm just like, y'all know. Like, y'all know. If you're a fan of this series, like, and people, if you saw it, like, come on, man. I was like, you were so mad that he did that adaptation without your quote unquote permission or whatever, and then you're just gonna be like, but let me borrow this stuff. It's like, get that off the air. Can I use it though?
That was kind of pretty good what you did there. Let me use that.
It's like they got shook. They shook him down before for these scenes or whatever. It was just like, give me that part of the script. But what I am seeing here, this looks like. I mean, yeah, they have the whole, Dick Grayson is obviously going to be a big part of this and everything like that. But this looks like it's going to be more of a Raven's story.
Yeah, from this trailer, it's more so Grayson trying to help her out, trying to fight her demons.
Yeah, literally. So, I mean, if you follow the story of Raven, you know about her and you know about her dad, her real dad anyway. And so I feel it's kind of interesting that they're kind of going this route because it looks like it's almost kind of mixed. And this is where I think the trailer gets a little bit weak for me because you have this mix of action, like I said, when, he comes out and everything like that. He's fighting these goons in the alley and just stuff like that. He's like, "Fuck Batman," and everything. And wouldn't it be funny if Batman was like behind him or something like that?
He was watching him.
So what'd you say, boy? I'm like,
That wasn't me.
You just see him like come out of nowhere and he's just like, he's like, "Fuck Batman." Look up. Sorry, man, I'm just playing. I didn't mean it. That wasn't me. That was him. That was that dude down there. But yeah, like it has this mix of like action, and you're gonna have that and everything. But it also has this horror element that I'm not sure will mix properly. Or to a certain degree, I'm like, I don't see that mixing too well because we've tried that on several occasions with the TV shows, with the horror element and or mysticism element with the action, because we've tried it in Arrow, tried it twice, 2 occasions in Arrow, and I'm just like, those were not the best seasons, you know. And so I'm just kind of like, I don't know how one's going to work. I don't know. Not saying that it can't. I just saying like they don't have a good track record with it. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. What about you?
From the trailer, it does look almost like a horror. They have some like horror elements in it, but that can just be, you know, how they're trying to sell the trailer to get us and, you know, invested into it. It may be something totally different, just like, I don't know, just like a jump scare here or there or something like that.
Yeah, it might be. It may be like the whole thing that happened like in Suicide Squad with the witch and everything, which I thought, like, you know, for the most, until like she, you know, was full on CGI and everything, you know, it was doing the whole pop lock thing. Until that part, like, there was stuff that was genuinely really cool and creepy, like the whole when her hand comes out from under and flips over, and now she's like, that's really cool, that's really scary, you know. So there might be some of that in here, and, you know, like I said, they might just be using, okay, this is just to sell the trailer and everything like this. So yeah. It might be. I don't. For me, it's like, okay, it's a little bit hard to see these two tones mixing. But like I said, it may just be like, okay, this is an action and it has some horror elements to it or whatever. Because like I said, they've tried this mysticism and action, you know, drama before, and it, like I said, not a good track record with it. They aren't really the best seasons. You know, one of them is actually the worst season of Arrow in essence. But who knows? Like I said, we've got new writers, so it may work out. There's some controversy around the casting. Have you heard about that?
No. What kind of controversy?
Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Anna Diop. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. And just, you know, post the correct pronunciation down below and everything like that. But she's playing Starfire. Now, obviously, she is a person of color.
Yes.
You know, she's a black woman. And she got a lot of hate because she's a black person playing Starfire. She got a lot of hate, like online hate and stuff like that. And I'm just like, y'all realize she's orange, right? She's orange. I'm like, why are you mad? She's orange. It could literally be played by anybody. Anybody. And it's just like, why are you mad? You know, I'm just, and it's stuff like that. I'm just like, why? I don't understand. Like, I know, yes, I understand that there's racism and stuff out there and everything like that. But, I mean, what are you going to say? Like, if she's blackwashing or whatever? And I'm just like, she's orange. What the hell does it matter what race she is? She has orange skin. She's not from this planet, you know? So, but I don't know. I was actually surprised you hadn't heard about it, but yeah, it actually had been going. It's been circulating around for a while, and it actually was really upsetting to me. And I'm just like, like the internet, please. I just need to stop at some point, because I'm like, I felt bad for her, because, you know, she's getting all this harassment and stuff like that. You know, I hope it's not to the point where she's like, I'm just going to step back, or just, I don't want to do this anymore. Or
I think I know I've heard they said something about she closed her Instagram account because of that.
Yeah, see, yeah, I mean, and I get it, because it comes to a point where it's just like you can only block so much. You know, you're blocking, and if it's constant harassment, you're just like, and you know, there's always those people that create all these fake accounts and stuff and keep doing it.
Yeah, but my thing is, number one, in the I think were the original Titans, she was, you know, in essence a black woman. Like she had the black characteristics, the curly hair, you know, the lips and all of that. So more of a Nubian alien, you know, princess. So I don't see.
And I think that's probably what they were trying to go for again. They were trying to get back to that original, and you know, not the anime version, obviously, or not. I keep calling it anime because it's Japanese animated, but like, you know, not that version, not the Teen Titans that cartoon that we grew up with, but going back towards that original. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember her actually being. I remember her being a member of the Justice League. Not so much the Titans. But yeah, I do remember that. I remember like, okay, she had curly hair and stuff like that. Looked more like a Nubian, like a goddess.
Right.
Put it that way. So
I don't know. And maybe because what we're looking at from this first appearance here, this can just be, you know, like a homage to, you know, her original outfit. This probably not how she looks, you know, throughout the whole show or movie or whatever this is. I think this is a show, right?
Yes,
the show. So we can't really base that off of anything.
Yeah, and I didn't understand. Like, I'm like, why are you mad? Like, because that was my main thing. I'm just like, she's orange. That's her skin tone. She's orange, you know, and maybe like, you know, you don't know what went into like the casting choice or whatever. Maybe they were just like, it's easier to paint this shade, you know, orange. So they're just like, hey man, this will be easier than, you know, casting somebody else who's later. Then they got to darken it in her skin and then put the color on. So I'm just like, let's just cast somebody. You know, you don't know. You know, she was probably the best person for the role. You know, like I can't say that she was the best person for the role because that doesn't always happen. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, like, you know, all races aside, she was probably the best person for the role. So I'm just like, why are you mad? You know, like why would you? It's just not clicking. It's not resonating. You know, and like I said, I feel bad for her because like she went through all that harassment and everything, and I'm just like, guys, really, really, like, is this what we're coming down to now? It's just like we just got to go out our way to harass people and stuff. And I'm like, there are far more important things going on right now that you should be mad about, let alone them casting a black woman to play an orange shaded person. There's far worse things going on in the world right now. This is not something to be upset about, you know, in the very least, you know, like now, if she gives a terrible performance, then you can be upset. But you can be upset about her performance. It has nothing to do with, you know, what color of skin she is naturally. It's just like, hey, she's not a good actor. Okay. You don't like her because, you know, you don't like the performance she's giving. There you go. Now you have something to legitimately talk about and be a little bit upset about and everything. But even then, you still do not have the right to harass somebody about that. Right. You know, even if she's not a good actor, you still don't have the. It's like, hey, look, I'm sorry, but you know, you need some acting classes or something like that. You're just not cutting it. Hey, look, you're just not a good actor. There's plenty of people out there that are like that still get jobs today, you know, that get multi-million-dollar jobs, and they're not good actors. They have screen presence or, you know, whatever, or they're just for novelty's sake, you know, just, you know, I hate to say it. I like Keanu Reeves in most things, but Keanu Reeves is not the best actor out there, you know, and he knows it. But it's just like in certain environments, he works. All I can say is like, give this girl a chance. There's no reason for her to, you know, to be under this kind of scrutiny. Right. There's no reason for it. It is uncalled for. Yeah.
And orange is the new black, right? So why not get a black? Why not get a black woman?
There you go. So I don't know. The one thing that's kind of deterring me is like, okay, they are creating this new online streaming service. It's probably not going to be free.
Yeah, because I was going. Is it going to be a subscription based thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure like something like this is not going to be. Let me say DC streaming service. It's probably not going to be free. I couldn't imagine that it would be. Yeah, DC Universe.
Pre-order now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's coming soon. It's not available yet, but yeah, it looks like it's gonna be. Yeah, you gotta pre-order it and we'll see what the cost. More DC for less than $5 a month. I mean, at this point, I'm just like, man, put it on Netflix, you know, or just kind of like form some kind of deal with them or something, you know, because, you know, for me personally, I'm already paying for Amazon. I'm paying for Netflix. You know, I pay to go see movies, obviously, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not really fond or keen on paying another, you know, subscription service or whatever. And I can get all these DC TV shows and stuff. Obviously, you know, there's plenty of stuff up there, but I already have them. They're literally right there. They're literally sitting right over there. And I'm just like, I can watch those anytime I want to and everything. So, I mean, it might be good for some people, but for me personally, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I want to pay for another service or whatever. So that's the only thing, that's not another thing that's kind of hurting it for me. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a bad show. I mean, I hope it's not going to be a bad show or anything. Like I said, as far as the seriousness, our friend JJ, he wrote a really nice blog about this new TV show, the new Titans TV show that looks like it's going to, and he gives some really good points. And I'll post that in the description down below, or you can check that out for comicjunkies.blogspot.com. It should pop up here on the screen pretty soon too. But yeah, he gives some good points as to like why we should be excited for the show. And like I said, I'm on the fence about it. Having to pay to see it is kind of annoying. But as far as the trailer goes, I think it's a pretty good trailer. I'm hoping that they balance the tones out properly and everything. And as far as like the seriousness goes, I think their seriousness is fine. I feel like there's a big misconception between, you know, dark and serious. This kind of looks a little bit more dark and gritty, I'll say that. But as far as like most of the other like the DCEU properties that have come out versus like, you know, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, I've never felt those were dark. I felt they were serious. They were taking a more serious approach. But as far as dark, nah, I don't think they were ever trying to go that route. Obviously with Batman stuff, obviously you're going to get a little bit dark and stuff. But I mean, I don't think they were ever trying to go that route. I felt like they were trying to go a more serious route. And maybe that's just not, you know, because I understand Marvel has set a bar, you know, and they've set a precedence and like this is how you should do things. But that doesn't, I don't know, for me it's like that doesn't mean that somebody else can't do something different. Right. You know, it's just like, you know, if you look at it, this is me. If you look at it this way, you have somebody that's doing something, you know, and they're successful at doing it. And you have another person that's like, yes, they're having other issues, you know, trying to play catch up is one of them. They shouldn't do that. But, you know, if you have somebody that's doing something on over here, it's similar, but they're doing their own thing. They're just like, hey, we want to go this route. You can't really tell them that they're wrong for doing it that way. At least that's my opinion anyway. I mean, what's your take on that?
For me, I always thought Marvel, how they did their material was they had these, you know, more, you know, lighthearted, you know, or, you know, more charismatic characters put into serious situations, and we get to see how they, what's the word? I can't think of it.
How they adapt?
Yeah, how they adapt, or I can't think of the word, but how they reacted in that situation. More so DC, the majority of their characters were, serious, had that serious tone or maybe even dark, already in serious situations. So we were like, okay, there wasn't a dramatic transformation for the character development, for the story of the movie or the show. Or
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point. DC does have a problem. Don't get me wrong. Like the movies that have been coming out, they do have problems. They, Man of Steel, for me, their biggest problem was pacing. I still feel like it's a decent movie. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I still feel like Man of Steel is a decent movie. I feel like the biggest problem was pacing at times, not all the time, but the biggest problem for me were pacing at times. Batman v Superman, the theatrical cut was a mess. That I didn't like. The ultimate cut, when I saw that, I was actually mad because I'm like, why did you bring this out in theaters? Because this was actually a far superior film. Because it's amazing what editing could do. And when you take out 30 minutes of necessary, I won't say all 30 minutes were necessary, but the bulk of those 30 minutes was very necessary. It's amazing what you can do, and I'm just like, all right. There were still some things I didn't like, obviously, but it's still like, all right, this is decent. Wonder Woman, decent, had some storytelling issues, villain issues, and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was decent. Everyone seemed to really like Wonder Woman, and I wonder. See, the thing I'm wondering now is like Wonder Woman is. I mean, she really kind of starts out as heroic. So, like what you really get that heroic vibe from Wonder Woman. I wonder if that's part of the issue, is because you see Man of Steel and you see him kind of trying to find himself, and trying to grow into the Superman that we know. And you see, this Batman that we've seen now in Batman v Superman. You saw a somebody who had fallen, you could say fallen from grace. He went down the dark path, the path that he was always trying to avoid going down. That one that he stepped over that line. Which was the point of the character. So he can have that arc and he can step back and, when he's in Justice League, you kind of see it. I'm like, okay, he's stepping back and he sees what he's done and everything. So he's trying to make amends for that now, trying to be this better hero, that he was before he had stepped over that line and everything. Superman, had finally decided to, granted it was kind of quick, but he finally had realized this is my planet. This is where I belong now. And, I'm willing to make this sacrifice, to actually die for, these people of Earth and everything.
It's going to have to take me like a few decades.
Yeah. I'm like, it happens quick. I was like, all right, that was, that was kind of quick. I get the arc that you were trying to go for. You're trying to complete that arc that you started, in the first one, but it was quick. Like I said, pacing, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe we don't want to, I'm going to say we, but I would say the masses. Maybe we don't want to see them as human, because DC has always been known as, these are gods trying to live as men, whereas Marvel has been like, these are men trying to achieve the height of gods, right, in a sense, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe with these characters have become so much larger than life that that the masses can only see them as a certain way. So when they're stripped down and they're made more humanized, it's kind of like, no, I don't want to see this. I don't want them to be like me. I want them to be something that I can aspire to. Yeah. But I've always kind of felt like, and this is from Man of Steel, I'm like, they had to get there at some point, like they had to, like I said, movie quality aside, I'm like, they had to get there at some point. You know, they had to go through some type of struggle. They had to go through some type of hardships and everything. And like I said, they're living on Earth. Clark, for the most part, he grew up as a human. So why you can understand the emotion that comes with it and everything. Like, he can't do anything then. He had it. I was bullied as a kid. You know, I'm sure you've had problems with bullies too. Most of us have. If you don't fight them, they're going to keep picking on you. And regardless of what Clark can actually do as a kid, he could have ripped them apart. But he can't, you know, like he knows like the moral dilemma here is just like, I can't fight them because if I do, they will most likely die. And then, you know, and then there's a whole snowball effect that's going to happen there. So, you know, how much punishment like that can you take? How much can you take somebody slapping you and pushing you around and stuff like that, calling you all kinds of names? How much of that can you take and just be like, can you still be this beacon of hope and everything? You know, can you grow out of that? And eventually he does, but what did you expect him to? How did you expect him to react? You know, how can you expect a person to react? Because Kryptonian or not, he's still a person. So how do you expect him to react to this? Do you expect him to just be like, oh, it's fine? You know, it's okay. Bullies will be bullies. You know, do you really expect him to react that way? Or do you genuinely think like, yeah, I would probably go through a depression too. I would probably try to like, okay, where do I really belong in this world? I mean, he goes through most of the movie feeling like I don't belong here. You know, that's why he goes from place to place, because he doesn't know where he belongs. He doesn't know his purpose in the world or anything. It's just like, everywhere I go, somebody's going to like call me out or piss me off or something like that. And, you know, like you get mad about him trashing the truck or whatever. Like, that's years of pent up anger that dude has. I was like, all I'm going to say is better the truck than the person, right? Trucks can be replaced, you know, somebody's life can't, you know, so that's just, maybe that's what all of this is kind of stemming from. It's just like you said, you have Diana who like she was from the start. She knew who she was and well,
for the most part,
yeah. No spoilers, but knew who she was and everything. So she kind of grew up wanting to be this hero and she acted accordingly and everything. And you can kind of say that in a sense about the original, not the original, because that's a different movie. That's a different Reeves character. The Christopher Reeves, Superman. It's like you can kind of say like, okay, he grew up with this sense of good and wanting to do good and everything like that, and kind of, you know, finding out like, because you don't have that same progression in, he starts Supermaning very early, you know, whereas the other one, there goes the battery, whereas the other one, he didn't. In Man of Steel, it took a while for him to even start Supermaning, and if you really look at it, he didn't really, like, he literally like learned to fly like a few days before Zod came down and started destroying the Earth and everything. So yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what we're running into, and I'm not sure, but I just feel like sometimes I'm like, I don't see why this is being hated so much, because it's like, I want to see what got them there, because we all go through really, really harsh times, right? And sometimes it takes time to rise above that. It's the fact that they do rise above it that makes them that, you know, these characters that you want to aspire to be, right, and everything. So that's my thing. That's
but I think that's the reason why Batman and Batman v Superman and Man of Steel have gotten those mixed reviews versus Wonder Woman, where they were practically, you know, all good, is because they didn't want to see that growth. They didn't want to see how they became this. They wanted them to already be who they expected them to be, and that's what they got in Wonder Woman. So that's why it was all good. That's why in every conflict that arose in Wonder Woman, she addressed it accordingly because she knew who she was. She knew
exactly
what she was set out to do, and whatever she felt was wrong, she addressed it. There wasn't no. I don't think I should do this because of the backlash I might get or who might get hurt or whatever. It was like, what you're doing is wrong, so you need to fix this.
Right. Exactly. Like she had this sense of right and wrong. And that was part of the thing. Like the overall theme was everything was black and white for her. It's like, this is right, this is wrong. I'm going to do the right thing. There was no sense of gray. And I like that because, she was this woman or this person who had a very, in her mind, she had an idea of what was right, what was wrong, what was good, what was bad. And everything around her was just kind of showing her, I'm just like, no, nothing's all black, nothing's all white, nothing's all good, nothing's all bad. Everything is operating in shades of gray.
Right.
And that's something you're just going to have to get used to. And then when she finally does, it hits her, and it's just like, yep. Yep, this is what you have to deal with and everything. Whereas, like Batman and Clark and Superman from Man of Steel is like they're growing up and knowing like this is all gray, and granted, you can step over into a very dark path, or you can step over into like an extremely righteous path and everything like that, which is funny because like that's the thing I would always get from Batman v Superman. It's like Bruce had stepped over into a place that was really dark, whereas Clark was trying to amend for the bad things that he'd done and everything. Because everyone complains about the carnage that he caused in Man of Steel, but he recognizes that I screwed up here. Give me a chance to try to make this up. Let me try to make this right. And I don't know. And the thing is, like, how do I do that? I don't know how to really reconcile with the people. How do I earn their trust back? How do I show them that I'm not here to hurt anyone? Because that was the whole point of Batman. It was like Batman was one of the people, the extremists that believe like you could snap at any point and we'd be done. We'd all be dead and we'd have no way of stopping you, which is the honest truth.
Right.
He could snap at any point and there'd be no way to stop him. It's been shown in comics for that matter. We've seen like the Injustice game and the Justice Comics, stuff like that. If he ever snaps, goes over to the dark side or whatever, if you want to call it, we're going to have a serious problem on our hands. So I don't know. I have always felt like they get hammered more than they should. Like I said, there are problems. I'm not going to sit here and say like these movies are perfect. They're masterpieces. They are certainly not. But neither are Marvel. Marvel does put out better movies for the most part. Not all of them are the gems that everyone makes them out to be as well, because Marvel gets a lot of, I feel, undue praise. And I feel like people only now are starting to realize that. Like, okay, since Infinity War came out, like, there's like, oh man, this is what these movies could have been. Then Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, and they're just like, what the hell is this? So yeah, like I think people are starting to now come to terms with like, maybe these movies aren't as great as I think they are. That's just me though. I don't know if you share that same opinion.
I would have to see Ant-Man and the Wasp to see how it went from Infinity War to that. But Infinity War, it was a spectacle to watch. And there are some Marvel movies before that weren't as spectacle.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, but there's spectacle, but there's also like just stakes. having stakes in the movie and taking things seriously. I mean, I hate to say it, but like I know like we want movies to be fun and stuff like that, but there's nothing wrong with taking some things seriously, and remaining that way throughout the movie. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like the movies that they've done the best the best with was Captain America: Winter Soldier, and even though I didn't care for it as much, I would probably say this pre-Infinity War now, didn't care for it as much. I would probably say, no, actually, I'll take that back. I'll say Iron Man, because Iron Man, he's a good character, obviously. He's funny, but you put him in a dark situation, and like you said, you see how he adapts to that, and then you realize those jokes stop real quick. Those quips stop coming, just like, I'm probably not going to make it out of this, like when he realizes that and everything. So whereas other movies, you don't really have those stakes. You don't really have those moments of vulnerability, put it that way. And if you do, you play it off. And that's the thing that would irritate me a lot. And I'm just like, Iron Man 3, we're staying on Iron Man. Iron Man 3 was just like, he's a guy dealing with PTSD. That's a serious condition. Like I know people that deal with PTSD. And, I've seen these reactions from them and how they just go into these panic attacks and stuff like that. And, this is a potential to show like something real happening, some real character, growth here. And it's played off for a joke most times. And I felt like when I saw that, I'm like, this is a little bit insulting. I'm sorry, but this is a little insulting and insensitive. Not just to people who deal with this kind of problem, but to the character himself. And I didn't like that. And in succession, movies started happening like that. I would say Doctor Strange is the same way. It's just like, okay, this is a person. Yeah, he was a dick. Fine. I get that. He had some comeuppance or whatever. But dare I say it, his character didn't grow that much. And granted, I like that some of that didn't happen. It didn't happen like, oh, there's this big thing and now we have to do something about it. He's just like, dude, I just wanted to kill my hands.
Yeah.
I get that and everything, but he's always going to come back in the end and stuff like that. But, just it's almost to a point like, maybe you could have taken it a little bit more seriously than you did. I said certain things are really good. So, like Marvel has done good jobs with a lot of their characters and everything, but in a lot of cases, nothing's really memorable because they don't make it memorable. They play it safe in a sense because they want everything to be, nothing. There's no stakes about it. You don't really get involved in the moment because you're laughing, you're smiling or something like that. You don't really feel the tension because someone tells a joke right when, something right after something tense happens or something emotional happens or something like that. So, hate on DC all you want. At least they're tonally consistent, except for Justice League. But I mean, they're tonally consistent or whatever. I mean, I recognize that Suicide Squad is a bad movie. I don't like Suicide Squad, but I can say, hey, it's totally consistent because it's a mess, but it's very early on they established like, you're not really supposed to take this seriously. I mean, there are certain points in here, supposed to have a little heart, but you're not really supposed to take this seriously. You're supposed to go on a fun ride with the characters. And okay, most of the teenagers like it and stuff like that, but I get it. I understand. I'm like, all right, this is for, like, I'll probably say this is for an age group that is not my own. Because I watch it, I'm just like, what is this crap? This makes no sense whatsoever. Characters are great, but I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever. Like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? But again, they do establish earlier on, because I did watch it again despite me not wanting to, but I'm like, I wanted to give it another chance, and I watched it. I'm like, they really established early on that this is not supposed to be taken seriously. This is supposed to be kind of stupid. So I'm like, okay, you don't get a pass from me, but I get it. I understand. Like, it's pretty tonally consistent. That's the one thing I can honestly say. They're tonally consistent. They're serious when they need to be, and they're silly when they want to be. If they're silly, they're going to stay silly. If they're, hey, if we're serious, we're going to stay serious. So, and Marvel's only recently started doing that again. With movies like Black Panther and Infinity War. So, like, these are the two movies that kind of stand out above the rest because they do take it seriously. They're not playing it off for jokes and stuff like that no more. It's just like, yeah, you can have a little bit of comedy in the beginning and stuff. But now, when stuff starts to go down, like I said, those jokes stop real quick. So,
yeah, though I really don't kind of want to spoil it, but when, Guardian of the Galaxy, when they meet up with Tony and the Spider-Man, they were having that, some of that comedy thrown in there, and you see that look Tony gives them, like,
yeah, exactly.
This isn't the time for this.
Yes, thank you, Tony. I was so happy. I was just like, this is literally my reaction right now, and I'm like, you're having it, and I'm like, thank you. Thank you. You realize, like, that this is not the time or the place for this stupidity. But anyway, I feel like we went from the DC, what was it? The Titans to like, now we've gone into some like deep conversation about what's good, the Marvel and DC universe and everything like that. So, like I said, I don't ever feel like you have to pick a side. I'll never say that. I'm never going to choose Marvel over DC, but I'm never going to choose DC over Marvel. I'm going to like them both equally. I'm going to point out when movie's bad, and I'm going to point out when movie's good. Like I said, I don't think the MCU has ever released a bad movie. Now, there's movies I don't like, but that's not because they're bad. I don't like them. Same thing with DC. Like, DC has put out bad movies. They have put out movies that are bad that I still like. I can say that, and I can honestly tell you that. But the scales are tipped a little bit too much. I'll say that much, and that's where I'm kind of coming from here. I'm just like, all right, Marvel's being held way up here, and DC's being held way down here, and I'm like, yes, Marvel is higher than DC relatively, but they shouldn't be this. They should be probably more like, all right, you're about right here, and you're about right here, So I'm like, okay, it's become popular to love Marvel and hate DC. That's the thing I was kind of like was going towards when I saw like the Titans trailer and how like this split started happening again. I'm like, oh god, here we go. Because it's either got to be super awesome or whereas hardly ever anyone's ever in between. And I'm kind of like, I think the trailer is good. I'm worried about certain things, so I'm just like, I'm kind of in between. And there are very few people that seem to be there. It's always like, it's always that scale. And I'm like, okay, here we go with this again. So I don't know, but we got more DC coming up. Much more DC coming up, and that will be in the form of, let's see, we're going to roll the dice here, and it looks like we're going to go into, looks like something that I don't have open currently at the moment. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do, I don't know, I'll let you pick. Should we do Shazam or should we do Aquaman?
Let's do Shazam. Let's go ahead and get that out the way.
Okay, we'll do Shazam, and most likely we'll probably do Aquaman in the next video. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna talk about some Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. probably our last segment of this go around anyway. Yeah. We took a little bit longer with the DC the trailer than we really wanted to, but it was some good conversation and stuff. It made me like think about some things and made me realize something like maybe this is the case. Maybe maybe this is just not. We want to see the heroes as heroes, and we don't really want to see. We don't want them humanized so much that it makes us think about, the trials and tribulations that we go through and stuff like that. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's just, we want to see something more uplifting and everything. And we don't necessarily want to go through that long route to get to that point and everything. So, and like I said, for me, Batman v Superman happened a little bit too quick, where he was just like, I just don't know where I belong in this world or anything like that. And then, things started happening. He was just like, all right, I'm going to die for the people now. Okay. So, I get the arc. Just a little bit too quick. Everyone was like, because everyone always talks about like the whole Anakin switch in episode 3. Because for me, like Anakin, I'm like, all right, this was happening like since the movie really began. I can really feel like, okay, yeah, this is the movie. Obviously, the trailers obviously lead this up to it too, but it tell you that, okay, this is the movie that is going to happen. But I always was like, I see this happening very early on. And before like he even made the switch to like, okay, I'm going to obey whatever you say and everything like that. He made that decision long before he even got to that point to where he told Palpatine he was going to. The switch that Superman makes in Batman v Superman, that's probably what you're talking about. Like that's more akin to like a quick turnaround. I'm like, okay, gonna go ahead and die now. All right. See you in the next movie. But if you are one of those people who are just like, man, I just don't like that serious DC tone, man. I'm just like, it's too much, man. I need to have fun. I don't want to go to a movie and it be serious, man. The Nolan Batman series was fine, but it's too heavy. And I'll admit I can't even watch those back to back. I get through to the Dark Knight. It's like I'll start on Batman Begins, get to the Dark Knight. I'm like, man, I gotta take a break. I need a minute, real quick. But if you didn't want to, if you're like, man, I need to have more fun. DC needs to be more fun. Well, they got just a trailer for you. They have the movie called Shazam coming out, which is actually based on Captain Marvel. But I guess to avoid the confusion, we're going to go ahead and call him Shazam, which is what his name should be in the first place. I have no idea what DC was thinking when it was like, let's call him Captain Marvel and get mad at Marvel when they name his character Captain Marvel. And then so to the point where like Marvel had to be like, no. Her name's Captain Marvel. Right? It's different. It's different, you see. But no, we got Shazam and it's supposed to be a little bit more fun. So let's go ahead and check out the trailer. And we'll give our review.
You've run from foster homes in 6 counties.
I can take care of myself.
When you're 18, give these people a chance.
They seem nice, but don't buy it. It gets real Game of Thrones around here. Dude, just messing around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all. You have bullet immunity!
I'm bulletproof. You're dead.
Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
All right. Well, there you have our trailer for Shazam. And like I said, if you were like, man, DC is just like, you're being a little bit too serious. This one was about as fun as you could probably get. What did you think?
Yeah, that was. I really can't even say anything about it.
It's here's the thing.
It's so different. from what
Yes,
DC
it's
does.
very different. And to the length, I would say like Justice League is very vastly different from the previous movies that we had gotten before that. But this is pretty much, if you really think about it, it's almost like this is the DCEU's Ant-Man, because Ant-Man, you can realistically only take this so seriously. And to where I can like, okay, you could have a serious Ant-Man story and everything like that. You could have went the whole route where like, okay, yeah, Hank Pym is beating up his wife, and you could have had that whole story arc. They chose to leave that out. It's Disney, understandable and everything. They decided to go just like, we can go the silly route with this. And if there was a movie that they were going to do that with, it would have it to be Ant-Man. And here you have like, 12, 13-year-old kid who basically becomes an adult. He's basically like he's the blue Power Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo.
Yeah. Every time he morphs,
he's like, oh snap, I'm 6 feet tall. So yeah, and there's going to be comedy with that. So if they were going to do a movie that was going to have more of a comedic tone, this is probably going to be the one to do it with. Like, again, you can have a very serious tone about this, but if you really think about it, it's just like, all right, this is a little silly or whatever. I mean, and of course, you wanted that, that quintessential Marvel character, the likable asshole. You got Billy Batson.
Yeah.
you got Billy Batson, that's pretty much, he's playing that character. He's playing that character that, if you really think about it, the most popular Marvel characters are just the likable asshole, Peter Quill, Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, these are the characters. Oh, we love these characters and everything. I'm like, well, there you go. You have a Billy Batson. And to be honest, that's not far from how he is as a kid. If you've read the comics, or you've seen, Justice League War?
Yep.
Seen Young Justice. Is he in Young Justice? He's not in Young Justice. I mean, he is, but he's not. Yeah, he is, but he's not. Not as much. And he's there. He's like the. He's like the chaperone at times. Or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, you can still he's very much a kid and everything, but he is that likable prick of a kid or whatever. So I'm just like, yeah, he's standing up for his friend, and everything like that, and going as he goes, and for some reason they choose him. And I'm like, all right, you choose him, and then he meets with the old man, aka Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. And then he meets up with him, and he's just like, say my name. And he's like, what is it? Shazam. I'm like, serious? And I'm like, that's a legit reaction. I'm just like, at some point I'll just be like, your name is what? Shazam. All right, I'm leaving. But if you were going to make any movie have a comedic tone, this would be the one to have it in. And I feel like that's the route they should go with this particular film. And he can be like, it's kind of like Flash. It's like Flash is a comedic type character. He always kind of has been, even, like Wally West a little more than Barry Allen, obviously.
Yeah.
But Flash can have his serious moments and everything. But for the most part, it's like not comedic, but lighthearted. Like his series has always kind of been like that. It's like you have some serious moments that go on, some serious story arcs and everything, and they tone down that lightheartedness, and they come down to a little bit more grittier. But for the most part, it's always been kind of like, it's a little bit lighter. And I feel like that's the kind of the route that they're going with this, and they probably should go with. Because, it's I hate to say it, it's a 13-year-old kid, man. You know, like
Yeah,
who
yeah.
turns into an adult. You know, there's just comedy with that in all actuality and everything. There's the comedy of him figuring out how to use his powers and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. But there is a particular person that we do not see in this movie. This trailer. And he is still cast. We checked. He's still cast in the movie, but we do not see Black Adam. I didn't see him at all. Did you see him?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so he's still cast. Dwayne Johnson is still cast as Black Adam, but he's not showing up in the movie. He's not showing up in the trailer. So that could be something that they're saving. This can go one or two ways. We could save it for the movie and be very surprised. You know, even though we know he's in it, you could save it for the movie, be really surprised. Or they could just go the whole Batman v Superman route on the second trailer and show you the whole movie with him in it. And then next thing you know, Wonder Woman will show up out of nowhere. And then show you the whole movie beat for beat and everything. But I don't think they're going to do that anymore. I think they learned their lesson on that one. I think those guys went to work for Marvel. That's why we got the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer and everything. But we got it's not a big cast in this one. Zachary Levi is the guy that plays the actual Captain Marvel, Shazam. Asher Angel is Billy Batson. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him. Mark Strong. I've seen him multiple times. You know. Who else is in this? We got Ron Jones, who's double dipping. Mind you, we've seen a couple of times on cast lists, stuff like that. People just double dipping, going over from Marvel to DC, and I'm like, look, I can't be doing that. They're gonna start confusing people. You're gonna start you're gonna have people coming to the movie theater and stuff like that, and your old grandma is just gonna be like, oh, is Luke Cage gonna show up?
Like, what? Grandma?
Where Black Panther at? And I'm like, no, grandma. No, it's a different universe.
Yeah,
it's
different universe.
It's kind of like, what do you mean different universe? It's the same guy, isn't it? I was like, stop doing that. Just stop doing it. Because we had recently, I know you haven't seen it, but in Ant-Man, Lawrence Fishburne is in that. Lawrence Fishburne plays Perry White in the DC, and I'm just like, all right, look, y'all gotta stop double dipping. Y'all can't have the best of both worlds and everything. You gotta stick to your guns. Now, look, we as fans, we can't, we don't discriminate. We gotta love each one individually and everything. But you as an actor, you gotta pick a side. You gotta stay on that side and everything. Now this is new. This guy here, how do you pronounce his name? Is it Jimon or Demon Honsu?
Probably Jimon.
Yeah.
Like Django.
Yeah, probably so. And I mean, he's in a lot of movies, stuff like that. We've seen him in a bunch of other stuff, but he's actually playing Shazam, and I didn't know that. They obviously don't show the guy's face or anything like that, but I didn't know that, and I was like, oh, okay. Let's hope that we don't get a lot of pissed off people about that. They're probably obviously they're too mad about the girl playing the an alien with orange skin. So, and it just maybe because we don't see his face, no one really complains or anything like that. But I hope they don't, because like I said, Shazam can be played by an 80-year-old Chinese person for all I care. As long as he's good and believable, I'll go with it. So, it could be played by an 80-year-old Chinese woman for all I care. I mean, they did the whole role change in Doctor Strange, and I was fine with it. I was like, okay, cool. I went with it. So, but yeah, interesting. Funny in a lot of places. I thought it was okay, that was genuinely funny. That was a funny joke or whatever, something like that. feel like eventually we are going to get this, get a Superman versus Shazam thing at some point, and I feel bad for Shazam because he's going to get his butt kicked. Granted, Superman still doesn't really know how to fight, but if he's stronger than the person, you know, we've seen what he did to Steppenwolf. He just kind of made him his bitch. And I'm just like, at some point, I felt like Superman was just going to like step on him, just put his boot on him, just like, don't move. Yeah. And it'd be like to everybody's like, yeah, I got this, right? I got this. Because, you know, he ain't going nowhere. Don't worry about him. Yeah, I take care of all the parademons. I got this. So, but genuinely looks fun. I would probably say it's coming out in 2019 as opposed to the other ones that are coming out a little bit either later this year, I think. Because I think Titans was coming out later this year, wasn't it? Yeah, this fall, right? Yeah. So, and then we had Alita coming out in December and everything. So this is actually coming out next 2019. I don't know what the actual date of it is or anything like that, but I don't know. Like I said, it's very tonally different, but I can see it kind of existing in the same universe. And I don't know if Justice League had anything to do with that because Justice League is a slightly lighter movie, figuratively and literally. But I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but maybe it was... I think it does, because I feel like the introduction of the Flash and how this Barry is and everything kind of shows like, yeah, there could be some comedy out there. What do you think?
I'm still kind of tripping off of the part in the trailer where you got the old guy. He's talking to Billy. He's like, "Say my name so my power can flow through your body." And I'm like,
"Wait a minute now."
If I was Billy, I was like,
"Stranger danger." Oh yeah,
I'm like,
what? That's actually Herbert from Family Guy. You got the cane and everything. Oh, he just made a little bit, disguised his voice so he doesn't sound.
Yeah. Come here, boy. Say my name. Yeah.
Come in, my slow paper boy. But yeah, I mean, and it's stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's can be played for laughs. I'm like, okay, I can see like there's a level of absurdity. Obviously, these are comic book movies. There's always going to be a level of absurdity that goes with it. But the challenge comes in is, can you still make people care? Even though, like, okay, this is, a comedic movie, can we still care about what's going on? Is there still heart behind this? Because to me, I'm hard on comedies because my thing is like, you can be a comedy, but do I still care about what's going on? Do I still care about these characters?
Right.
Do I still care about the situation that they're in? While I'm, am I laughing at them, or am I just laughing at the situation? Because the situation might be so absurd, but not so absurd that I'm just like, all right, I can kind of go with it, and it just kind of, humanizes it a little bit. Or is it just out there and silly, and it's like there's no relation whatsoever, and that, to me, it's less funny that way. And it's just like, I don't really care about what's going on or anything like that. I feel like I'm watching like, hour and a half long YouTube sketch or something. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's the kind of comedy that you like and everything. It's just, that's just not for me. That's why I'm harder on comedies than I am on other movies, because there's not a lot of heart in comedy anymore. It's all about the joke or the gag and, getting from one gag to the next, and, not really not really taking the time to focus on the character building and development and the story, you know? So, I mean, like, you could still, like I said, you can be funny. You can be absolutely hilarious. But you still have to have that heart to make people care. And that's the only thing, like, I can see that here in the trailer, but that doesn't mean that's going to translate to the film, you know? But I would hope that this, I feel like this is going that route where I'm just like, all right, this is going to be more of a comedy, but we're still going to have like stakes, and we're still going to have like, you're still going to be able to care about these characters and what they're going through and everything like that. You know, like I said, we established like, you know, I'm making fun of Billy for being the likable asshole or anything like that. But, you know, is he going to have that overall character arc? You know, that's going to not change who he is 100%, 180, so that he's unidentifiable at the end. But, you know, maybe, you know, like it'll soften him up a little bit and kind of introduce him to like something that's a little bit bigger than himself. So, because like I see where like, okay, he has some selflessness and stuff like that. So, which is why, you know, but for the most part, he feels like a selfish character, at least in this trailer anyway. He feels like a selfish character, and which is why it's also confusing to me. I'm like, why would you choose him? You know, him of all people. But there might be something there that, you know, the old creepy black guy sees that we do not, you know. So it'll be interesting to see that how that works out in the movie. What do you think?
Yeah, just you can't really base it off of this trailer here. It's just not a whole lot to go off of. You see this, you know, you see more or less of the selfish type of Billy Baxton here in this trailer. So I think more in the movie you will get those stakes and see how his character really plays out.
Right. And I also, how do you feel about the costume? Because the first time I saw the costume was in like that thumbnail where they show like where he realizes he's bulletproof in that particular scene, like this right here.
Right.
They showed that, and I'm like, oh god, they CGI'd the costume like they did with Green Lantern, and I'm like, oh god, no, don't do that again. But for the most part, it's just that one particular shot where it was just like, all right, his head does not fit his body right now.
Yeah.
But for the most part, in other scenes, I'm kind of like, you know, I think it looks pretty cool. You know, I mean, obviously he's wearing a muscle suit under there, but so does Henry Cavill, even though technically, yes, he doesn't need to. But like you can see, like, yeah, he's definitely wearing a muscle suit under there. But, you know, what do you think about the costume?
My first reaction was like, well, I kind of didn't have one. It was just silent. I was like, it's kind of interesting. Like the material that they used, it was, how can I say it? Like it wasn't real. Like when it's not real. But
yeah,
into the movie world, like if I was in the DC universe and I looked at Captain Marvel's costume or outfit, I'm like, he probably bought that from like Halloween store or something.
Yeah,
like it's not really authentic as if I were to look at, you know, Superman's outfit or uniform. It looks more of something that was from his planet.
Yes,
something like that.
Yes, exactly. Like it definitely looks. Like, I will say that they made a good job of making it look more alien. You know, like, and I always kind of appreciated that and everything. Even though a lot of people are saying like you need to bring back the red underwear, and I'm like, all right, fine. I guess, but you know, this one, like I said, in that one, the only time I'd seen it was that one. The first time I saw it was that one scene. You know, he's like, oh my god, I'm bulletproof and everything like that, and I'm just like, that does not look good. It looked like a CGI suit, and I'm like, oh, here we go with this again. But for the most part, I was like, you know, I kind of like it. The lightning bolt might take some getting used to because it's always kind of shining. And I think that's kind of like, it might be messing up the contrast with the rest of the suit. And we all know that's something that could very well change in post production, because obviously the movie's not finished and everything like that. This is just a trailer, and the costume, I mean, it's not going to look vastly different, but they might tweak. They're going to tweak some things, most likely, or anything like that, and it might look a little bit better. Because for me right now, I like the costume, but the lightning bolt is it's a little off-putting, because like it's a different contrast than the rest of it, and it's shiny, and it's like,
and everything else is just plain.
Yeah,
that's the only.
So maybe if you tone that back just a little bit, like it could still be like shiny and everything, but dim that light just a little bit, it might fit, or just brighten up the color of the costume, and it might work a little bit better.
Just like in the Injustice video game, the first one, his original costume is more like the lightning bolt isn't dim. Not dim, but it isn't brightened. It's dim with the rest of his clothing, and the rest of the clothing is more more detailed to it. And also in the other outfit that you can get if you unlock them in the New 52 one, it does have the I want to say it's lightened up, but the rest of his uniform is also lightened up as well with the designs or whatever.
Yeah, and that's probably the only thing I would really say about it. Other than that, I like it. Excuse me. I hope I get to see him wear the hood at least once, because I think the hood's cool. I've always thought the hood was cool. I was just like, it's a cape, but I'm like, he also has the hood to go with it. I'm like, okay, I always thought that was actually pretty cool. He's going through charging the phone. It was funny. Like the first time I saw that, I was thinking about it was the Samsung phone that would blow up, right? When you charged it. Yeah. I think it was that one. I was just like, yep, he's got a Samsung. He gave it to him, and he was like, yep, there you go. So I'm curious as to when this is actually taking place. So I'm thinking this is, obviously this is taking place after BVS. He's got the other kid is, his friend has has a Batarang and everything like that. We see the newspapers and stuff that has Superman and everything. We're probably going to see some reference to Wonder Woman eventually and everything. But I don't know I wonder if this is taking place before Justice League or after Justice League. So it could take place either way. If it's before Justice League, then you kind of have to answer the question, well, where was he then? Yeah. When all this stuff was going down, where was he? But, obviously that can be answered in another movie if they chose to answer it, or something like that. But I'm curious as to when this actually is going to take place. Are we going to have any other cameos in this movie? Any other Easter eggs? Because there's one thing I can say, that DC is very, very happy about their Easter eggs. They love to put those in there and have it force it almost to a fault, to where it's like, all right, I get it. I know that you're setting up something here, but you're just like, look, we have this. So I wonder if like that's going to be, who else is going to show up in this other than The Rock as Black Adam. So, and I'm curious as to how they're actually going to introduce Black Adam. So, because I saw something there like where he punched somebody and he didn't move, or like he caught the fist or whatever.
Yeah, that was Mark Strong.
Yeah, Mark Strong's character, and I was just like, huh, okay. So what's going on? What's going on there? Why did that happen? But it's a quick thing. It's a really quick, like, I punched and I caught his fist, everything like that. I'm trying to find the scene. But it's a quick, like, that's before this, I think. But it's a quick, like, really quick scene where he's just like, punch and catch the fist and everything like that. But I'm curious as to where, like, who else is going to show up in this? Are we actually going to see? Yeah, that exactly. I was just like, wait a minute now, But yeah, I'm curious. It'd be funny if that was The Rock in that bag, one of the masks. But yeah, I'm curious to see who else actually is going to, or what's actually going to pop up. There's always some kind of a Easter egg that goes with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they what else they bring up in it in the movie.
Yeah. So, well, I can't say I'm excited to see it. I think the most exciting movie that I'm most excited to see out of these three trailers, I would probably say is Alita. I'm most likely going to see Shazam. But I'm definitely going to go see Alita right now. Like, say that was the best out of the three so far and everything. And as long as they don't do anything to drastically change the movie, please don't do that, Warner Brothers. Don't sit there and do something so they like limit the time or anything, like, you know, so where they have to cut out vital parts and stuff, you know, because somehow they didn't learn their lesson from Batman v Superman and wound up messing them up during Justice League, you know, where they had to cut out quite a bit. But and then, you know, you could make the argument like, well, look at Infinity War. You know, Infinity War, they had a bunch of footage in there and they cut it down. Black Panther, they had a bunch of footage in there and they cut it down and everything. So if they can do it, why can't DC do it? And I'm like, or sorry, if Disney can do it, why can't Warner Brothers do it? And I'm like, it's a good point. It's a good point. So, but it all comes down to how it's written. Is it written to be this long?
Right.
If it's written to be that long, then maybe it just needs to be that long. You just got to take it, you know? Better to put out whatever you think is the best version of it. And, you know, because if it's good, people are going to want to see it. That's just the thing. Like, if it's good, if it's long and it's good, people are going to want to see it. If it's long and it's bad, then you have a problem, you know? You're going to, you know, even if it's short and bad, because what was it? Fantastic Four was like less than 90 minutes or something like that. The new Fantastic Four movie, but it was bad. So hardly anyone went to see it. And, you know, word of mouth got out, you know, we're going to know about it. So yeah, I'm less excited for this one. I think it's going to be fun, but I'm less excited for it.
Yeah, it looks more all around a goofy movie.
Yeah. Not a goofy movie, but yeah, goofy movie. It looks like it'll be just a silly fun time or anything like that. I would probably say most likely the biggest Easter egg is like he'll have to join the Justice League at some point in time, because we all know, like, we haven't seen the last of, you know, people from Apocalypse. We have not seen the last of those people yet. They're going to come back, and we have a big bad that is going to come back. You know, that is going to turn up eventually, and they'll probably need the help of someone like Shazam. So, Captain Marvel.
Batman might roll up. Like,
yeah.
We need you to audition.
Well, we do know that he does not have a problem with recruiting children. He's like, hey, he recruited Robin when he was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So,
and just like in Young Justice, when they was trying to figure out whether to keep Shazam in the Justice League or not, and Batman was like, yeah, I already knew he was a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
I was surprised, like, everyone was like surprised about that. And it was just like, wait, why are you surprised? He's Batman. Of course he knows. You know, just like, did you think that he wouldn't know? Like, he found out all of your secret identities and you didn't tell him. So why wouldn't he know that this is a little kid, you know? So the only thing, like, the thing that really hurts at times though is the incantations when Shazam has died. You know, like in Injustice, which was really messed up, but also in Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah.
That was the most messed up version of it. If you haven't seen Flashpoint Paradox and Wonder Woman kills Shazam, it's messed up because he's a kid when she kills him, and I'm just like, Diana, what the frick, man? You know, like most people just like, okay, you're a kid now. Knock you out. Okay. You know, just go toss him away somewhere or something like that. You know, mute his mouth so he can't say Shazam anymore or something like that. Like, no, she just full on stabs him through the heart. And I'm like, really? Really? Like, where is your honor, Diana? But then, you know, Superman like freaking heat visioned him through the head. So I'm like, no love for Shazam.
It's no love.
It's like, y'all do realize this is a kid, man. Y'all can't be doing him like that, you know. So it's like the thing with Spider-Man. It's a little tougher to deal with kids getting hurt than adults, because you know adults know the risk, and kids say they know the risk, but they don't, you know, until it happens, you know.
Yeah, just that, and that. I was kind of looking at that when I was watching One Piece last night, and one of the characters, he wanted to be a Marine, and there was a war happening during this arc, and he was in it and seeing, you know, what's actually going down. Like he thought it was just gonna be a battle, you know, like a regular battle between pirates and the Navy, and whoever won, they won, and the rest of the defeated went home. Like no, he was seeing, you know, what actually goes on in war. Like he like people killing everybody. Like yeah, they still won, but they going that extra mile to strike fear in the opponents, you know, mind, so they won't never do it again. And he just went crazy. He was like,
Yeah.
I can't take this.
Yeah, it's gruesome. The battle is not, you know, like it's like you look at people like Thor, and you look at people, you know, like Wonder Woman. You know, like they have a certain thirst for battle, and you know they can make it seem like it's fun in certain cases or whatever, stuff like that. But you know, when you see where, you know, how this can lead, where this can lead, and when you see the actual aftermath of it and everything like that, it's like, oh yeah, this is not the glorious, it's not the glory of the battle. Right. Glory is the last thing that war is about and everything. So and it's always tough when you see kids deal with that. So eventually that might happen. I just, you know, I don't want to see Shazam die or anything like that, because I've seen that enough, and I'm just like, you stop killing kids. So, I mean, it kind of trumps the trope of the kids always going to be safe, but I think there's a level of brutality that always came with killing Shazam. I'm just like, someone obviously does not like this character. Like has some type of like just chip on their shoulder about Shazam. Like every time he dies, it's the most gruesome way, and I'm just like, or violent way, and I'm like, dude, really? You know, like, you know, granted, the way Superman died was violent, but you know, he always went out like a hero. You know, like he went out like a hero. Batman goes out like a hero or something, like Wonder Woman, you know, whenever a DC character would die, it was like they went out like a hero, or unless they were like blown up or something, you know, in certain cases. But, you know,
unless you're Vegeta.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was just like with Shazam. They're just like, no, we're gonna make him suffer. And I'm like, why? What did he do? It was like, is he like based off of somebody's childhood bully or somebody like that? Like, what happened? So
he's getting bullied,
right? So, but yeah, I would, like I said, the most exciting one the one I'm most excited to see is Alita. I definitely want to see that. Which ones are you most excited to see? I would like to know. Go ahead, post that down in the comments below. And man, I think that's going to be it for this show, man. I don't think I can go through another trailer. We still got 4 more to go through. We'll go through those eventually. Still have Aquaman to go through, Godzilla. What was the other 2? The other 2 were Glass. Yes, thank you.
And what?
The J.J. Abrams movie. The one that you thought was anime at first.
Overlord.
Overlord, yeah. So we still have to go through those two, which Fitz is in Overlord from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm like, he's not double dipping. He can go out there and do other stuff and everything like that. But yeah, y'all actors, I need to stop because I see like there's like some of the same characters that are in the DEO in Supergirl were from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like they were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and I'm just like, you better get your ass back over there. What you doing over here? Take your butt back to work.
Like in Amanda Waller from the Suicide Squad, she was the woman from not Age of Ultron, but Civil War that Tony met.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, I was like, what are you doing here, man? Get back over there. But yeah, I'm most excited to see that one. Let us know which one you are most excited to see down in the comments below. I think I was going to go ahead and get out of here, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you, the Immortal Nerd Hakeem. Thank you for joining me on this show. We'll be back for the next one. And like I said, you can always follow us on the social medias, McGlam Entertainment on Facebook and Instagram, McGlam ENT. Don't get that confused. They only let us put so many letters in our @ name on Twitter. Follow our adventures on there. Follow us on SoundCloud. Follow us on iTunes. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out all the highlights and stuff like that. Where can they find you, Hakeem? Once again,
find me on Twitter at CryKeem92. Cry with a K, Keem with a K and 2 E's. And my YouTube channel, The Immortal Nerd 2.
Yes, sir. You can always find us you always find us here on McGlam Entertainment, where we try to bring a little bit of enjoyment to your day every day. Like I said, if you want to support us and give us just that little extra mouse, $1 a month, and become a patron on patreon.com/McGlam Entertainment, so we can bring more awesome content to the awesome viewer that is you. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into this new segment of the Real Cast called Trailer Talk Tuesday, and we'll be back next Tuesday to talk some more to you. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.